Does. All right, let's talk, guys.
Yeah,
there we go.
yeah,
We'll have to record this shit from now on. So, last week we heard Stella Adler talking about bringing in the words last. I've said to you guys in the past, when they first started the Moscow Art Theater, the first year you didn't do any lines. Zero. We're not saying the lines aren't important. But at least 90% of actors, what they do is they take their script. Here's my script. I've got my lines. There you go. It says, fuck off, and it says, calm down, whatever it says. And they sit there in the living room and they start doing the words. Anger, tears, whatever. That's how we think, right? And we memorize them like that. We're in our living room memorizing them, or in our bedroom, because we've got an audition in 3 days. And you literally hear how you're going to say the line. That's you mimicking a tone of voice or how you think a certain emotion should go. The golden rule is this: the character doesn't know the lines. The actor does. The character knows. The example I give is Dustin Hoffman in Death of a Salesman. He knows he's going to come home from work. He's got lines once he enters the kitchen. He comes in the door. There's it was a New York Times article. It said why Dustin Hoffman was amazing. He put his luggage down and he rubbed his shoulders. He's a salesman. He's been carrying suitcases around all day long. For 30 years. We all do something when we come home from our day job. We sit there, we get tired, we take our jacket off, and you just go, oh. Now, how you go, depends on if it's Monday night or Friday night. It's different when you get home Monday night, because you know you got 4 more days of work. It's different if you get home Friday night and it's a long weekend. You get home differently. You go, hey! Like the kids from school, 2 weeks to go, 2 weeks free, whatever. Those things aren't in the script. The director or the writer doesn't say, act really excited because it's a long weekend. They don't have time to do it. One of the other key reasons why they don't do it is, as writers, we write the scene, he comes home from work, this is the scene in the kitchen. And then one day you might decide to cut this scene. So now we only have the scene in the kitchen. And then you might decide to put it back again. So there's no time to do all these little minute things of it's a long weekend, he acts really excited or not, or whatever. Great actors do that. I'm home. It's a Friday night. Depends on what's going on with their relationship. For Death of a Salesman, for instance, he's been driving around for days or months without any money in his pocket. So when he comes home, how does he tell her? He doesn't want to tell her. He might have bought something extra nice, but he wants to come home, go under the radar, have a weekend with his wife, have a meal, and then get back to work on Monday, ready to strike again. And it's in the dialogue. But the behavior is based on Friday afternoon, no money again, I'm here for the weekend. If the wife says, hey, let's go out to a big expensive restaurant and party, he's going to go, my back hurts. He's not going to say, I got no money. You know what I'm saying? So, as the character, I know the behavior. I don't have a clue what the words are. We're not saying don't do the words. We're saying bring the words in last. Because the way you say those words are based on, when I come home, what's my wife doing? If she's cooking a lovely meal and there's a glass of wine on the table, you're going to go, If there's nothing on the table and she's pissed off, you're going to go, oy vey. Which means I'm now also forced to take her in. That's how my dialogue will come out. No preconceived idea of how the words will come out. It's based on that moment with the other actor. That forces me to take in place, if the house is nice and clean, if the house is a shithole. If I come in, there's one thing we never take into consideration, and Stella Adler was brilliant for this. You'd get it on stage and she'd kick your ass in. You just came in from the cold. You don't just walk in. People walk in here and go, oh, it's nice and warm in here. You go into the mall during the summer and you go, oh, it's nice and cold in here, or cool. On a film set, you're off camera, you walk into the camera, you're off stage on a theater, you walk onto stage, no change in temperature. You just walk in like nothing's going on. And you go, wait a minute, you just came in from the fucking snow. What did Stella say last week about that woman who traveled? For those of you who don't know, it's a woman who'd gone on a train station and she goes, why would you take on that long journey? How was your journey? Where's your ticket? In those days, if you lost your ticket, it was a big deal. You couldn't go up to the counter and go, hey man, I've lost my ticket, it's in the computer somewhere. If you lost your ticket, you weren't traveling. So when you come off the train, do you have your ticket? Like this. And you go, hey, how are you? Good to see you. Before you see your friend. Before you see your friend, which you haven't seen for 10 years. That's another thing they talked about. Nora, right? What's it like to see someone that you haven't seen for 10 years? They didn't have Facebook back then. You couldn't go, look what she looks like. Now, once again, 10 years is relative. If I haven't seen her for 10 years or that one over there, in 10 years, they're completely different. We may not change that much, 10 years. But if you haven't seen someone from early teens, you're going to go, oh, I can't even fucking recognize them. Where's your ticket? What's the one thing they always tell you when you leave a flight? Have your fucking ticket out. So if your character took it out, where would they put it? Here? Here? What kind of character is it? And these are the details that you bring into your work. I remember some guy, old timers, passed away now. He grew up in Eastern Europe. He said in those days, we all used to sew our passports onto our clothing. Literally sew them on. Now that's not in the script, but if you find it, it's a great detail. Kazan used to call it a great detail. I would sew my freaking passport on there. And you're not arguing with a director, you're saying, no, motherfucker, my character would sew this on inside for protection. Because if he loses it, it's over. What kind of gloves do you wear? What kind of person is your character? All this behavior gets washed away because we focus on the words. And you need to create it all and then find the words. When we do sensory work, relaxation here, I say find the words. It came from something that happened here. The example I give many different examples. One of them is people, you see them saying, I'm hungry. No, you felt that before you said the words, I'm hungry. You felt something in your stomach rumble. You smelled the food and you're going, oh. And then comes the line. You don't just go, I'm hungry, and then act hungry. You don't go to a bar and say hi to someone. You take them in first. Depends on who they're with. Depends on if they're phoned. Depends on how drunk they are. Depends on if, she's sitting alone with her husband. You don't say the lines. Hi, darling, how are you? Do you want to go out for a drink? No. You take in the husband. You take in, you go, okay. She's there. What happens is you take all these things, and these things become little split seconds. We're talking about split seconds in your work. And those split seconds are what makes great acting. As I've said in the past, I want you to think of this. It's like seasoning in your food. You don't even notice it. No one goes, oh, good salt, good pepper. Take the shit out, everyone will notice it. If you take out these moments, because what happens is the brain goes, well, that's not important. It's not important how it comes in the door. It's not important whether he throws his jacket on the ground or puts it on a clothes hanger, because that's the only jacket he's got. It's not important if he comes in the door with a flower or a rose or a loaf of bread or the mail, because it's Friday and he's been gone all day and he just got home and the mail is there and his bills are stressing up. That might not be in the script, but a good actor will do him. He doesn't come home on a Friday night with a cup of coffee. He might leave his house with a cup of coffee. Did he bring his lunch to work? That tells you something about the character. Did his wife make him lunch or did he buy lunch? That tells you something about the character. And in Death of a Salesman, he had an affair at one stage. Does he feel guilty because of that? How do you show that? Without saying the words, I feel really guilty. There's 1,000 ways to show it. And if you bring that in, they won't even notice. What we don't want you to do is this shit. Hello, Mr. Director. I think I'm going to bring a cup. I think I'm going to bring a loaf of bread. Because the director's going, no, we have no time for that shit. Or most actors will do it for show and tell. Look, there's my passport. No, it shouldn't even be noticed. It's there for the character. We're talking about little moments, and people, where they go, wow, there was something about that performance. Yeah, the something is they're not doing the words neck up shit. That's the something. That's why I say, find the words. And if you don't have a lot of time, which many of us don't, especially in today's world, it helps to learn the words like that. So you say the words as you come in, as you take off your jacket, as you come off the train. That's the best way to memorize the lines. As you do the action of the character. And that's why, Stella, you say character is revealed through the actions. You can tell what a person is by how they do things. How they sit, how they talk. Do they sit like this with their legs open? Do they sit with their legs crossed? Do they have the jacket on? Do they wipe their mouth like this? Or with paper and towel? Do they have knife and fork? Or they how they eat tells you everything. Once again, not in the script. Most of you will do it like an action as yourself. You're still playing you, which is acting 101. I'd rather get that right first. Nothing to do with character. Nothing to do with this. I want you all to find the words, but you layer it with where am I? The generic shit we heard in acting 101. Where am I? Why am I here? What's my activity? Coming home from work is different getting ready to go home from work. And then somewhere in that you find the words. We don't trust it because we get pressured by directors. Shit directors, for the most part. You know what I'm saying? You drop the line, well, fuck off. I was busy coming home. I don't know the line. Stella used to say, the line is the bone and you are the muscle, which dictates, based on the script, we're not saying the lines aren't important, but I can only fit a certain type of muscle on this bone. Meaning my choices are enveloped or supported by what's in the script. I can't just make choices, to show and tell who I am. They have to make sense for the script. If she's coming off a train, what kind of train? Where did she sit? Did she sleep? How long was the train journey? 1 hour is different from 10 hours. 10 hours, you take a nap. 1 hour, you might not. You'd wake up and go, oh, fuck, where am I? We're in Russia? Good. We're still in Russia. What the fuck? That's a 10-hour train, still in Russia. You got me? It makes all the difference in your work, all the difference in the world. And that's why I say, bring in the lines last. Create everything else. And I want you also to understand something really quickly. That way also, you don't forget the lines. You can't forget the lines now because the character just got home and he knows it's Friday night. He knows they're going to go have dinner. So even if I ad-lib the whole thing, hey, honey, I'm home. She's going to go, let's go and party. Going to go, no, I got no money. Let's just why don't we stay home instead? I know roughly what I'm going to talk about. Where if I don't create any of the other stuff, I'm dependent on the lines. And the moment I lose that train of thought, I go, and you see actors going, I lost the line. Well, you don't do that in life. Halfway through a discussion with your wife, you don't go, I lost my lines. But you know what you wanted to say. So the lines, if they're not word perfect, it's irrelevant to us. It's the situation we want. It's the moment we want. That's why we're saying we're not doing the lines, we're doing the moment, the situation, based on the place, based on the activity, based on what the other actor gives me. And somewhere in there you find the lines. 9 days to your work. 80% of people don't work like this, at least 80%. What they do is the lines first. Neck up shit, based on nothing. And now it's more important than ever with all this lovely technology now. Blue screens, green screens, whatever the fuck, digital screens. The actor's just focused on the lines, not creating anything. It's all digital. And there's nothing. There's no connection to the shit. Nothing, no connection to it at all. You see people on stage talking to the audience. They call it minimal theater. Fucking, I hate it. That's a 2-hour monologue. People on stage going, no, I want to see a place. If you're outside in a park, you look up, you look around. Where the director goes, talk to the audience. Oh, please. If you don't add those ingredients, then why do I need you? I might as well stay home and read the play, because that's all you're giving me, the lines. I'd rather stay home in my bed, read it with a glass of wine. I'm coming to see you. I'm coming to see the character live through those moments, not to hear the lines. Makes all the difference in the world. That's how I want you all to think. Bring in the lines last. You got me? Yeah? And that's what you're doing for sensory work. When we say morning drink, find the lines. Shaving, find the lines. Rain, find the lines. They're not up here. Something out here feeds you. That's how we talk, by the way. Watch next time you have a discussion with someone. Next time you're in a restaurant or whatever, have a coffee. Watch. Something here, we have a coffee, something triggers the lines. I look at the waiter, I smell the food, I have a memory. And then the discussion takes place based on why we met originally. Let's talk about moving out. Okay, sometime we'll talk about moving out. But then we talk about all this other shit. Do you know what I'm saying? That's finding the lines, not memorized lines. And you can spot them a while away. The problem is this, most actors or directors or casting agents don't know this. That's your job, you're a chef. You should know when things don't work. It's because most actors or you are just doing the lines, and you see people, we all do this. There's like a 30-page script, and there's 4 lines that you just can't connect to, and you kind of just muffle them. Or you just throw them out there hoping that someone makes sense. And I go to people, what's behind that line? I don't know. It's in the script, I'll just say that. Yeah, we can spot it a mile away. That will end up on the editing floor. So you've wasted everyone's time. You have to know what's behind every line. You got me? Yeah? Find the lines. The lines come in last. Not from the page, from here. It will change your work. Fair enough? All right? You guys go first. Isn't that lovely? We'll do marriage first, then we'll do the monologues and stuff. Okay? Fair enough? I'll talk to you guys first.
Yeah, sweet.
We'll have to get scenes for you. Okay?